Most people treat tarot as sacred, spiritual, mystical, divine. But what if I told you that it is also just a game? That the tarot you use to decode fate and access spirit was literally born as a deck for playing cards? That the sacred symbols you're reading today were once the equivalent of medieval Uno? This isn't a takedown. This is a deeper look at how something playful, something seemingly trivial, can become one of the most powerful tools for inner transformation, and why calling tarot a game might actually get us closer to the truth. Hi, I'm Paul, and this is Tarot Logic, an analytical approach to intuitive reading. Let's play. The earliest tarot decks weren't used for divination. They were used for entertainment, like bridge or poker. We're talking 15th century Italy, wealthy families commissioning beautiful hand-painted decks for a game called tarocchi. The major arcana. They were called trumps, not in the mystical sense, but in the beat this card sense. They weren't portals to archetypal truth. They were how you won the round. So if someone tells you tarot was always a spiritual tool, they're rewriting history. But that doesn't mean they're wrong. Here's where it gets interesting. Games aren't just for fun. Games train our minds to recognize patterns, track meaning, and think symbolically. In fact, play is one of the oldest forms of human learning. We understand the world through mimicry, metaphor, and imagination. So when early occultists began using tarot for divination, they weren't corrupting the game. They were revealing its hidden potential. They realized something profound. Symbols don't need to be sacred to be powerful. They just need to be meaningful. And games, structured systems of symbolic interaction, are the perfect framework for meaning to emerge. Think about how tarot reading works. You shuffle the cards, you draw from chance, you interpret what shows up. Now compare that to a game of chance with strategy, like poker or chess or even Dungeons and Dragons. There's structure, there's randomness, there's meaning layered over every move. In tarot, we're not just interpreting images. We're playing with symbols. We're navigating uncertainty through narrative. The brain loves this. It responds to symbols the same way it responds to stories, games, or rituals. By participating in a system of play, we create a kind of psychological sandbox, a safe space to explore our fears, dreams, and desires. So yes, it's a game. But it's a game that hacks the brain's pattern-seeking software, and that makes it potent. Here's the Jungian twist. Archetypes, those big symbolic energies, don't show up in spreadsheets. They show up in stories, in myths, in fairy tales, in dreams, and in games. That's why the Fool, the Magician, the Tower aren't just cards. They're characters in a cosmic drama. When you read tarot, you're not just pulling images. You're stepping into a role-playing ritual with ancient energies. You're the seeker, the one who asks, the one who draws the card, and then must make meaning from it. Just like a game requires you to play the part and make decisions. That's what gives tarot its power. Not the ink, not the cardboard, but your engagement with it as a meaningful system of play. Here's where things might get controversial. Many tarot readers bristle at the idea that it's just a game. They think it disrespects the sacredness of the tool, that it undermines the spiritual depth. But here's the truth. It's not just a game. It's a serious game, like ritual, like art, like love. And serious games change people. They let you role-play your future. They give you a framework to practice emotional and spiritual agility. And calling tarot a game doesn't diminish it. It highlights what makes it work. Because the moment we play with the symbols, they come alive. I once did a reading where the client got the Fool 3 times in a row from different tarot decks, one from an oracle card, one from a random prompt. It was funny. It was weird. It felt like a joke. We both laughed like, okay, message received. But then it hit her. She had been afraid to start over after her divorce, afraid to be seen as naive or silly or foolish. But the cards kept playing the Fool card until she realized that being willing to start fresh, to take the risk, was the whole point. The message only landed because it felt like play, and that made it powerful. Tarot works because we engage it like a game, a ritualized, symbolic, interactive drama. It invites participation, it rewards curiosity, it speaks in metaphor. Calling it a game doesn't cheapen it, it explains it. Because the brain, the psyche, the spirit, they all respond to symbolic play. And when you treat tarot as both sacred and playful, it becomes something truly transformative. If this flipped your idea of tarot on its head, subscribe to Tarot Logic for more real talk about the symbols you trust. Drop a comment. What's the most game-like moment you've ever had with tarot? A card that felt like a prank, a layout that told a joke. Let's talk about the sacred power of play. Until next time, read with structure, read with curiosity, and always read with logic.